Jon Bon Jovi was shooting a video in Nashville, Tennessee, and a woman was on the edge of a bridge looking as though she was going to jump off, and what happened next was an absolute masterclass in how to save someone's life. And if you're ready, let's get going. But right here is Jon Bon Jovi, and there's a camera crew around him. And down here at the other end is a woman, and she's standing on the outside of the ledge of this bridge, looking as though she's ready to jump. And watch, Mr. Bon Jovi sees what's happening, and he begins to walk toward her. You see him here, and you'll also notice the camera guy that's coming right behind him. Now I'm going to walk through the 8 steps that he followed that most people don't even know how to do, and I think he just did it naturally. But the first step is this. If you are ever in this position, when possible, immediately call 911 to report this, or ask someone else to call 911. He didn't have time to do this. As he got closer to her, he did number 2, and that is to control your emotional reaction and respond as calmly as possible. Watch him. Notice that he's slowly walking up, not being a threat in any way. And the woman begins to look in his direction, and then he slowly makes his way toward her. Now notice he's going to put his hand on the rail and stop. The reason why is he's going to do the next step in de-escalation, which is to personalize the situation without being threatening. This is why he stayed back a little bit. And then he does something else that most people probably wouldn't think of intrinsically. Notice that he waves at her, and then she waves back. See it again, waving and waving back. He waves at her, she waves back. This personalizes the situation, and it makes her feel seen, and it makes her feel cared about because somebody else is paying attention and actually waving and showing themselves as not being a threat. The next thing that you want to do is to try to make a verbal connection and express any care that you have out loud. In other words, say something that makes them feel as though you care about their situation. See here, he stops. He leans over on the rail, and again, completely unassuming, he's making a personal connection with her. Now, a word of warning, do not escalate the situation at this time. So do not scare them by being in an elevated state of stress. Stay calm. Just like he does here. Notice that he just leans over on the rail and begins to engage her. Now look at this. You see her bag that's in her hand? I've stopped the video for a minute. This is extremely important because what he is doing is having an effect. You can see this because many people, when they're thinking of doing this, they will take personalized possessions with them. I don't know what is in this bag. I haven't read the police report, but I know from experience that many times when people are thinking of doing this to themselves, they will take important, personal, sentimental things with them. So watch what happens to the bag that's in her hand. He has disarmed her to the point that she does this. She drops the bag and engages with him. I hope you caught that she dropped the bag, which speaks volumes because it means she's rethinking doing this whole thing because she's going to let go of one of the personal things that she's connected to. She's going to leave it there, which lessens the probability that she may go through with it. And instead, she's engaging him. Now, the next part may seem logical to you, and it may not, but it's very important. You want to remain calm, but then try to give physical touch in a non-threatening and reassuring way. Now, watch the woman that's with him. See her hand? It goes across her back, begins to touch her very gently, very reassuringly. And again, this is non-threatening. And watch her hand as it now moves up to her shoulders, rubs her back to make her feel as though someone cares. Now, at this crucial point, no matter what they say, do not leave them alone. It's still not over yet. They still may revert to doing what they were thinking about doing in the first place. So no matter what, do not leave them alone. And this next part is hugely important. Do not give ultimatums. You may feel as though you need to fight every effort to give ultimatums. You need to be very careful here because this could increase feelings of rejection for the person and decrease trust between the two of you as the person may feel unheard. The motivation for the change must come from within the person themselves. So watch here as all of this culminates and actually has the desired effect on this woman. The kindness wins her over right here as she turns toward the woman and towards Mr. Bon Jovi. And he comes around and puts his hands on her. Because of the trust that was built, she allows him to pull her over the rail. Then notice what he does. He looks at her, he validates her, he speaks to her, and he puts his hands on her. This not only makes her feel validated, but it makes her feel cared about as though she matters. This is extremely important. And again, I'm not sure if he understands what he's doing or if it's just coming naturally, but this is a masterclass in the right thing to do to help somebody. And as he speaks to her, the emotion overwhelms her, and look what happens. She falls into his arms, and she hugs Jon Bon Jovi for saving her life. Now look at the way he carries himself, completely non-threatening. And now he follows the next directive, which is whenever possible, move them to a place of safety. As you can see he does here, watch his hand as he says, look, let's go over there, away from the edge. And then one of the most impactful parts of this video is he himself reaches down and picks up her belongings to carry them for her. He's carrying her bag for her. And as he walks off, pay attention to what happens here. Watch his arm, if you're watching them walk away, his arm embraces her. He puts his arm around her as they walk away. And as they walk away to safety, he is embracing her. This is far and away one of the best examples of how to save a life that I have seen from someone who I don't think is trained in this area. He did everything right. My respect for this man just went through the roof. If you're still here watching this video, thank you for staying. But do me a favor, click on one of these other ones, and I'll be back very soon in the next one. See you then.